Hi. So in this video, we're going to be working with the circle. Right? As you know, a circle is a set of all point equidistant from a given point called the center. And we name a circle by centers. For example, in this case, we have circle B, right? And the diameter is a segment that contains the center, right? And passes through the center, and its endpoints are on the circle, right? So the diameter is 2 times the radius. Why? Because the radius is the distance from the center to any point on the circle, right? So this distance right here, this distance is the radius. So as you can see, we have it twice. So that's why it's 2 times the radius, right? Congruent circle have congruent radius, right? So, and then the central angle is an angle that has its vertex is in the center of the circle. So for example, AOB is a central angle. The arc is part of the circle, right? A semicircle is half of the circle right here. So arc BDE is a semicircle. A major arc is larger than a semicircle, and a minor arc is smaller than a semicircle, right? We usually use 3 letters to name a major arc, right? So this means we should have another letter over here to name. Yeah, and the arc measure is the same as its corresponding central angle. The measure of a major arc is the measure of the related arc subtracting minus 360. So, and adjacent arcs are arcs under some circle that have exactly 1 point in common. The measure of the arc formed by 2 adjacent arcs is the sum of the measure of the arc. So, for example, if I add AB plus BC, that's equal to arc AC. Okay, so let's see a couple of exercises. So I want to name the arc made by the given angle. So I have angle CQG. CQG is this one. So the arc formed by this angle is arc GU. So arc GJ. So it's this arc right here. That arc right here. So it's arc GJ is a minor arc because it's less than 180. Right, so number 2. Form GQH is this one right here. So in this case, it's arc HG. The next one, I want to name the central angle. So HG is this one. So that means that central angle is that one. So in this case, we have to use 3 different letters. So HQG, angle HQG. Find the measure of the arc of central angle indicated. Assume that lines which appears to be diameters are actually diameter. So I want to find arc G, C, E. So I want to find all the measure of this arc right here, right? So I know that this arc, this arc here is 116. I know that arc DE is 54. Why? Because the measure of the arc equals its central angle. So now I just need to find this arc right here. Just need to find that arc right there to find the measure of arc GCE, right? This arc, complete this arc, right? GD is a diameter, so that means that this angle right there equals 180. So this whole arc equals 180. So that means that 116 plus x equals 180, right? And we actually look at this exercise, we actually don't need to find x because right now I have that this arc right here, this arc equals 180. So I'm just adding to 180 that 54 piece right here. So this is 234 degrees. So the measure of our GCE measure of angle. GCE equals 180 plus 54, that is 234. So FIG, FIG. So I'm going in this direction. So again, FIG. As you can see, the only part that is not included in this arc is arc FG. So that means that the measure of arc FIG equals 360, that is the whole circle, minus 75, that is the part that is not included. So this is 285 degrees. GOC, I want to find angle GOC, so I want to find this angle right here, right? Okay. So in this case, I know that this angle, this blue part is 26x minus 1. And I know that the red part is also congruent to this whole, let me mark it in red, this whole segment right here. Why? Because this angle, GUZ and WY, are vertical angles. So that means that this one is negative 2 plus 20x plus 45. So this is actually 43 plus 20x, right? Because I'm adding negative 2 plus 20x plus 45. Remember that this angle is 45. Okay? So now I have that right here. I have a diameter. So that means that 26x minus 1 plus 43 plus 20x equals 180. I have 46x plus 42 equals 180. So minus 42 plus x equals 138. And divided by 46, that means that x equals 3. Now I want to find JUC, so that means that angle JUC equals 43 plus 20 times 3, right? So I'm just plugging in 3 on this x right there. This is 43 plus 60, so this is 103 degrees. So I want to find FBG, mark the angle FBG. FBG is this angle right here, right? So I know that FBG equals CBD. They are vertical angles, right? So in this case, I have that. Remember that this angle is equal to 7 plus 8x, this one to 9x plus 1. So 9x plus 1 equals 7 plus 8x minus 8x minus 1. So I have that x equals 6, right? So I'm plugging 6 right here, or right down here, because that's the one that I want to find, ABG. So measure of angle FBG equals 7 plus 8 times 6. So 7 plus 48. So this is 55 degrees. So the circumference of a circle is like, call it like the perimeter of any figure, is the distance around that shape. So in this case, it's the distance around the circle. So the circumference, we have two formulas. If we have the diameter, it's pi times diameter, or 2 pi times the radius. Remember that the 2 times radius is the same as the diameter. So let's see. So I want to find the circumference, and we're going to keep it with pi. So in this case, I'm using the circumference here is 2 pi times 7. So this is 14 pi miles. The next one, so I have the diameter. So this one is just 14 pi centimeters. Again, then on number 11, I have my diameter. So this is 18 pi inches. So now the arc length, right? We know that the length of the arc, if we measure it in degrees, is 360, right? But if we use any other measure and we want to find that measure right there, we have a formula, right? So it's the length of AB, so this length right there equals the measure of segment AB, or the same at the central angle, divided by 360 times the circumference. As you can see, that formula right there is the circumference, right? So let's see one example. So in this case, I want to find this length, right? That one that is in bold. So in this case, the radius is 11. My arc is 150. So that means that the measure, or the length of, the length of that arc equals 150 over 360 times 2 pi times 11. Right? So this is the same as, so this is 5 over 12 times 22 pi. So this, I can simplify 6, 11. So this is 55 pi over 6 inches. The second one, again, I have 225. So that means that, and I want to find this whole arc. So the length of the arc equals to 225 divided by 360 times 2 pi times 14. So this is the same as 5 over 8, right? If we simplify by 45 times 28 pi. So now we can simplify. So I have 4 and 14. Let's do it by 4, right? So I have 7 and 2. So I have 35 half pi inches square. Or inches, sorry, just inches. And that's it for this lesson. May the force be with you.